Hello and welcome to Sonyabeonit channel. Today I am so excited because we're going to do a spread of food. It's a holiday, which is the Memorial Day holiday that's coming up on Monday. And we're going to do ribs, we're going to do chicken, we're going to do hot dogs, we're going to do homemade coleslaw, we're going to do baked beans, and some other desserts I may be failing to mention at this time. As you can see, I have candles lined up on my counter. These are citronella candles. Yes, I have them on the inside of the house because people are going to be going in and out of the house. So I want to keep all the mosquitoes and all the other bugs away. So that is a good idea. If you have citronella candles, bring them on the inside. You can use them on the inside as well. Like I said, we're going to have a good time today. You're going to really enjoy this tutorial. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and cover our hair because we're cooking a big meal for a lot of people. Go ahead and cover your hair so you won't find any hair in the food. So let's get started. Okay, first thing we're going to do, I went and bought a tray of chicken leg quarters, which is like the drumette and the thigh. That's what my family likes to eat. I'm going to show you the correct way of cleaning this. We're going to do some corn inside the silk. I'm going to show you how to open that corn up. And what you're going to do is, I'm going to show you how to open the corn, clean it from the inside, close it back up, and you're going to grill this just like this. It is so good once you grill this on a grill. The next thing we're going to do some ribs. I have 4 slabs of ribs we're going to do. And when you're doing barbecue ribs, don't be intimidated or afraid to try to make your own sauce. There's a sauce that I came up with, which I call it the sweet thing sauce. We're going to put those on ribs. I can't give that recipe out because it's really a secret, something that I created. And when I tell you this is such a good sauce, we're going to do some ribs that is going to have barbecue sauce on it, but we're also going to do my special sauce, and this is what I use, the sweet chili dipping sauce to make my special sauce. We're going to do some baked beans with hot dogs. We're going to grill some hot dogs. We just got a lot of stuff going on today, and I'm so excited. So let's get started on the chicken right now. Okay, I bought these quarters. As you can see, it has a lot going on the inside. What you want to do, first you want to make sure everything is clean around you. You don't want anything to really touch the chicken, or the chicken to touch anything to contaminate it. I take my thumb and I'm going to go between the bone. If you have kitchen shears, you can use it, but I can't find mine right now. Go between that bone. You're going to pull all that off. All that's fat. You're going to discard that. I have a knife that I'm working with. Some of that skin you want to cut off. You're going to go underneath, fat, pull off. Because you don't want to cook too much of the fat. Pull off. I'm just going to place that in the bowl for time being because we have to go and clean that chicken. Let's pull all that extra fat. Take a knife or your shears, your kitchen shears, and pull that out. If you want to keep some of the skin, fine, but let's go ahead and take some of that fat completely out of there as much as possible. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's do another one. It's gonna come like this. Take your thumb or take your shears and you're gonna go underneath it, or I can take my knife and just go in between it and cut it off. Okay, I'm making a little mess. Let's see, can I get that without touching everything? We're gonna throw. Okay, let's see. Let's pull that fat. We don't want to cook with all that fat on there. Okay, I have a couple more pieces and I'll be right back. Okay, this is the last chicken that I have to do to cut all this excess stuff off that I don't need, like I'm going to discard all this fat in the skin because they didn't take the time to really even pick the feathers off this one. I'm going to take all that off. Remember, you can use a knife or you can use a pair of scissors. If you're using a knife and you don't feel comfortable, brush your chicken like this on something flat and you cut down. Okay, take this over to the sink. First I want to lift that up, rinse my hand really well. I'm going to wash it, but before I wash it, I want to bring this chicken over in the sink. Best way of cleaning meat meat is supposed to be pearly pink. The best way to do that, I want you to add a teaspoon of salt inside of your chicken. You're going to let that sit for a few seconds, and then you're going to begin to switch that chicken around really well. And as you switch it, it's going to become pink. Make sure you get everything off. See, look, sometimes that don't come all the way off. Go back at it. You also may spill some of the sliminess that comes from chicken. You want to pull that off. What I want to do is show you, let me get me a rag, 1 second. I'm going to use a rag, I'm going to use paper towels, individual paper towels. Okay. Please excuse the mess because you know I like to keep a kitchen clean. There's this season that's called Grill Creation, and that is the chicken and rib rub. It has some sugar, some brown sugar in it. This is excellent for your chicken. Now normally I would take all the chicken, put it in a bowl, and that's how it looks. This is some really good seasoning for your chicken. You can smell it. It has some sugar, brown sugar, and different seasoning inside. It doesn't overpower the chicken, and I'm going to put a lot of it on there. Okay, I've completely cleaned all of the chicken. As you can see, I put it back in the bowl. Once I cleaned the bowl out, I cleaned all of the chicken thoroughly. Now the season I just mentioned, we're going to use this on there. Do not be alarmed or intimidated when I pour this on here. And you may say this is a lot, but if you can smell it, back up for a second. It has a lot of, it has barbecue sauce in it. It has brown sugar, and other seasoning. I don't think it really has any salt in it. I gotta bag up. That is really strong. You're gonna take your hand. I want you to marinate it real good. Believe me, it's strong and smell because of what's in it, the dry rub barbecue sauce. Pour some more. I'm probably going to pour a whole tray of chicken breast. I'm going to pour probably half of it. This bottle in here. It's the best thing you can put on some chicken. Remember we talked about salt? I really don't like cooking with salt. A lot of the seasoned salt we buy have salt inside of it, but this one, I don't think it really has salt in it. You're not going to taste it. I don't like to taste the taste of salt. I can add it in certain food, but I don't want to taste it. You're going to let that marinate real good in that bowl. And if you can, do it overnight, but if you don't have that kind of time, that's fine. Because it's still going to come out right. I guarantee you that one. Okay. We'll let that sit there and really marinate. I'm going to sit that off to the side because that's going to be one of the items that I'm going to place on my grill. Next thing we're going to move over to are the pork ribs. We're going to place this over to the side. Put a lid on top of that. We're going to clean up my workspace. Now on my ribs, all of my ribs, I'm not going to put a lot of seasoning on it. And the reason being because I want to cook at least 2 slabs with no season on it. No season whatsoever, because I'm going to use my special sauce that I made. But one thing I'm going to suggest, and if you try it, I promise you, you're going to love it. Anytime you're cooking meat, the first thing you put on it as a season, not this. Because that is overpowering. As you can see, I use a lot of onion powder. For some reason, onion has a tendency to break the meat down and make it very tender. And you're going to rub it on first. The first time when you put any type of season on your meat or like ribs, put the onion powder on first. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a second. Let me get this out the way. I am through with that. Okay, here you have it, my ribs. Went to Sam, got 3 big, beautiful slabs of pork ribs. I had a tray I seasoned during Christmas time because we went over to my brother's house for Christmas and I cooked and had an extra slab left, so I kept that in the freezer since December. It's already pre-seasoned, so I don't have to worry about doing. This is a different pan. I have 2 of these, so don't be alarmed. It's not the same one as the chicken. This is a slab that I actually did during Christmas time. I froze it in this container with a bag over it. That's ready to go. So I'm gonna sit that to the side. That's gonna be one of the slabs that I'm gonna put on the grill. That's gonna be seasoned. I'm gonna do probably one more slab that's gonna be seasoned. Let me go ahead and pull this to the sink closer. I'm gonna cut this open and I'm gonna show you how to trim all this excessive fat off. I'm gonna pull this over to the sink. My sink area is completely clean. I'm gonna put this right here. I have a cutting board, but I'm not gonna use it because I don't like to put meat on cutting board. First thing I want to do is rinse that off really, really good. Hold that if you can. If not, clean your sink area really good. And I want you to go ahead and place it in the sink. But you want to rinse that meat really well. Look at all that. It's a lot of extra fat. We're going to cut it off though. I'm going to take that off of there. Let's do the one right quick. Okay. I want you to go ahead and flip that rib over to the back side. All this extra fat you see, you're going to hold it. Take your knife. Take a really good knife. And go under that. See how that came off real pretty? We're going to discard this. Take the knife. Let me get another one because that's not the right one. Continue to do this until you're satisfied with how your ribs look. But I'm going to try to take the majority of this extra fat off of here because I don't want to cook with it. Pinch it. Grab it however you have to get it. But hold on to it. And you want to cut that off. Okay, I flipped it over to the front side. I'm going to take some more of this fat off. And I'm stacking it over here in the corner because I don't want you to see how much additional fat is coming up off these ribs. They're pretty, but it still has a lot of fat, a little extra fat added. And some people choose to cook with the fat on. I just prefer to remove a lot of that. I want to taste the meat and not the fat. And presentation is everything. It looks better as well when you take all that fat off. Look at there. Now I can't really get into these grooves, so this one I'm going to do, hold the meat up and cut into it. You don't have to go to the extent as I am, but like I said, if you want to get some of that off, the majority of that off. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Kind of satisfied with it. Let's flip that back over to the back side right quick to make sure that I've got the majority of that fat off. Okay, there's a line that goes between your rib. I usually cut that off too because it makes it kind of tough. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to cut off. But if you take a look, this is all that I have cut off that. That's a lot. That is a lot. Let me cut this off. I see a vein and I'm not going to eat it because of the vein. That's a lot of fat. Look at all that came off there. That's a lot. I'm going to discard this. Put that back close to the sink. I'm going to throw that away. We're going to take this piece of meat. I'm going to use my arm to set the water on without touching. I'm going to take this meat back over to the sink, right on the tray. And I want to rinse that off and make it really, really pretty. This is going to be one of the slabs that I'm going to put the season on. There's another type of season that I use. But remember, the first season to put on your meat before any other season you apply is always going to be onion powder. Let me show you this secret. Okay, you see all this extra meat? That's meat. All that is meat. There's a bone joint right. I think the bone, you're going to have to feel for it. The bone joint is right here. Take your knife and go in between it. I don't know why that's not acting right. The one I need, let me see if I can find it right quick. I got one that's better. It's not that one. Okay, let's try this. I need my black knife. Gonna go, I can feel the bone right here. All this extra meat. You want to get that knife in between there. Be careful, please. There you go. You're going to feel the joint of it. Or you can just cook the whole entire rib just like this, the slab, just like this. I don't cut it up in small pieces, but I want to go with my groove. These are my grooves lining of my rib. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this extra meat. Okay. These are the ribs itself. This is the rib. In between this extra meat is a brittle, like a bone of some sort. Take your knife. You're going to go between it. Cut that off. Go between, I can feel it. There we go, that's a better knife. Okay. Now you see all this pretty meat? This is what you're going to, you see all this pretty meat. I'm going to cut that little fat off. We're going to keep this meat. We're not going to throw that away. We're going to keep that. But what we're going to do is, with this, when it comes off the grill like this, we're going to make rib tips out of it. So we're going to give people options of the rib, the bone ribs, or for those that want like the boneless kind, these are called rib tips. Once they come off that grill, you're going to slice it up, dice it up, it becomes rib tips. Take that bone out of there, that bristle bone of some sort. Okay, there you have it. Use my elbow, rinse off. Set my knife to the side. Okay, here's a different season we're going to use for the ribs. Good. You talking about good? This is by Kingsford, the company that makes the charcoal. This is a barbecue season rub. This stuff is delicious. But first thing we want to do, we're going to take that onion powder I talked about. We're going to put a lot of it on there. You're not going to, I promise you're not going to taste it. It's going to break that meat down and make it so tender a newborn baby can eat it. You can puree and put it in a bottle for them to drink it. It's just going to be just that tender. Use a lot of onion powder. A lot. Let's flip that baby over. That looks like a lot. It does, but believe me, it's gonna work. It's that Georgia tender ribs. I'm gonna lift my hands off a little bit. Okay, let me pour this Kingsford. This all I'm gonna use. I'm not gonna use no black pepper. I'm not gonna use no garlic powder. None of that. All of it is in here. All of it. It's a barbecue seasoning. I'm gonna take that barbecue seasoning top. I'm not gonna use the sprinkle part. I'm just gonna take my time and gently sprinkle that all over the top. You want to sprinkle where it's going to marinate. And if you was using salt, I tell you don't do it this way, because you know salt is very overpowering. I'm going to rub that in there real good. Flip that pretty baby over. Take our time now. And we're going to rub some more. Usually when I cook, anytime I cook any food, I don't never have anything left over. And people got whim of that. I was cooking for Memorial Day, a day early, and now I'm expecting a lot of people to come over. This is going to be our rib tips. You can come on down to Georgia and get you some good ribs at Sonya's. Okay, isn't that beautiful? Oh, that's beautiful. If you can smell it, hey. Okay, that's one rib. Okay, here's another slab that I took out the bag because keep in mind I told you there's 3 slabs that came inside this package. And I think I spent about $35. This I'm not going to put any primary season on it. I'm just going to put my onion powder so it can tenderize that meat. This is going to be a plain rib because I'm going to use my special sauce that I make with that red hot sweet chili sauce. There's some other ingredients that I mix with it. And it's, oh, I can't even explain it. But you can be here to taste it. It is so good. I'm going to see can I find some kind of company to manufacture this sauce because it's delicious. Okay, this is just going to be all plain, just with the onion powder on top. Nothing else. Okay, that's it. Let's sit that to the side and allow it to marinate as well. But I cut all the excessive fat. I didn't have to cut the additional groove or the additional meat that that tends to lay on the top. I didn't have to cut that off. It didn't come that way. I just trimmed some more of the fat off and that's it. So that's one more rib. Okay, we're outside, so we're gonna get started in grilling. I am so happy how this turned out. I did this a couple of days ago. I renewed my grill. I have to test this bar at a later time, and I'm gonna go ahead and paint the new brackets that I put on here also. Let's open it up and see what's inside. Okay, as you can see, the inside looks very good, very good. We're gonna take these racks up. These are my grilling racks. I'm gonna stick those up for a moment. What I did, I put some charcoal already inside, and this is like a good cooking tool to use. So I lined my pan already with some charcoal. As you can see, I don't have that many pieces in there because when you use this method, you don't have to put that many charcoal inside. Go back and take a look at this tutorial I did on reinventing or renewing your grill. You're going to be very pleased with the outcome, and you're going to want to try this because this actually worked. I've been doing this for years. Okay, I'm going to place that back down in there. I have another. I'm gonna loosen it up some. Okay, we're gonna take a little lighter fluid. I bought the kind of charcoal where you have to put the lighter fluid on it because I didn't want to spend a lot of money for the match light or whatever it's called. This works just as well. You're gonna sprinkle some on lightly, probably about a half a cup on both sides. I'm going to even use my smaller smoker grill on this side because I'm going to be cooking corn, hot dogs, and some other things on this side. I'm going to open it up from the bottom because I don't want to take that top rack. I wish you can see this. I only put a couple pieces of charcoal in here because that's all you need. When you cooking ribs, chicken, anything on the grill, you want to slow cook it so it can marinate. And that heat is going to cook it to precise, and it's going to come out delicious. So I just went ahead and put the lighter fluid, which is the Kroger brand. That's fine. It's odorless, so that's fine. We're going to let that sit for a few seconds. I'm going to come back, light it up, let it burn and flare down, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my meat. But one last thing I want to tell you, when you use this pan, put this charcoal in here, you're not going to use that much charcoal, and also it's going to contain the heat within the pan to cook the meat evenly, and you're going to have less flare up if you use this method. Okay, let me go ahead and get a match, and I'll be right back. We're going to light that and begin to cook. I found the light. I matched the charcoal. We're going to flare it just a little bit so it can spread. We want that flare to... We're going to contain it, but we want it to flare so it can go ahead and burn all that charcoal. Okay. That's all we need. Now, one thing you want to do, which is a good thing to do if you can, if you have already cleaned your grills, is while that is burning, which those have been cleaned, place those back inside and let the heat also burn it. You know, fire will kill any kind of germ that's going on. If you miss anything, it's going to catch it. I'm going to back that up. Okay, this is the color of the onion powder. Don't be alarmed, that's not the meat. I'm going to go ahead and take that and place that on the back side of the grill. Slow cook that. Now I just put my fork through that, and the fork went through the meat already, and I just tenderized it. I'm gonna put that rib tip meat. I'm gonna spray that to the. Now let's put that to the front. That was delicious. I'm going inside and bring out my other platter and go ahead and put another slab right here. And I think we're going to start cooking the chicken, because we're going to do that corn and the hot dog last, because it's not going to take that long to cook yet. Close that. Okay, we're going to put the other slab of plain ribs on the grill. Just position it this way. Wow. It's going to slow cook. All right. Let's see, can I get it? I'm going to try to squeeze that last rib on the end. One more. Okay, this is my last slab I have to put on the grills. So I have a total of 4 slabs of ribs on the grill. 2 plain and 2 with season on it. I'll let that slow cook. Close that back and let it do what it do. I'm going to come over to the side. I'm going inside to get the chicken. We're going to start cooking that chicken also. I have allowed this to sit and marinate in that season I've told you about, the chicken rub. It has a barbecue sauce in it. And there it is. We're going to go ahead and put that on the grill. At an angle. I'm going to put all of the drumsticks together. Don't you see how this actually marinated in that meat? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That is pretty. Put all the drumstick together. Let me look through here and see if I have any more. It's good to have one of these, because if you don't just grill, it's going to smoke it. You talking about a taste? Oh, my mouth is watering. Get these other pieces on here. Slide that down so there's room. You're going to be surprised when you see how it cooks. Just using those few pieces of charcoal that I put in my tin-foil pans, you're going to be surprised. Let's go ahead and close that lid and let it do what it do. We'll be back to check on the status of this and to see the progress.